So we talked about trust, we talked about data, performance, personalization. Now everything kind of ties up with the AI enablement part, right? So where do you think AI actually adds the most value today? And where should the human creativity and judgment always remain? Now that actually raises another interesting question for me. Now, say if AI starts choosing jewelry for customers, what becomes the real competitive advantage for brands here? Is it the product? Is it their overall brand story? Is it the experience that they give it to the customers, or it's something else entirely? Hey everyone, welcome to another interesting episode of RetailInnovation podcast. Myself Nishit, and I manage partnerships and sales for Krish Technolabs, and I'll be the host for today's discussion. Retail Arise is a community built for retail leaders who exchange their ideas, share their experiences, challenges, and what's actually shaping the future of retail. Right through events and leadership conversations across the globe, we have had the opportunity to bring together the CXOs and CMOs, industry experts to talk about innovation, customer experience, and business growth. Today, we are actually excited to continue this conversation with someone who has played a key role in building one of India's fastest growing jewelry brands. Joining us today is Saurabh Mathur, Vice President at GIVA Jewellery, with over 15 years of experience across retail, consumer businesses. He has been instrumental in scaling GIVA into one of India's most loved digital first jewelry brand. Saurabh, thank you for joining us, and it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Nishay. Thank you for inviting me to share my views on how the retail industry is changing, how the impact of AI is coming. Really nice to be here.
Thanks, Saurabh. Appreciate your time. Now, Jiva has actually built a remarkable brand by combining beautiful designs with a strong digital first approach. In a category where trust has traditionally been built inside physical stores, Jiva has shown that technology, customer experience, and brand storytelling can create that same kind of trust online. That's exactly what today's conversation is about. So, for the audiences today, along with Saurabh, we'll explore how data, AI, and personalization are changing the way jewelry brands engage with customers. Buying jewelry is rarely just another purchase, right? It's an emotion. Whether it's a gift, it's a wedding, or something someone buys to celebrate themselves. Every purchase carries a backstory to it. As customer experiences evolve, brands have to understand the stories behind than ever before. That's where data and AI are beginning to reshape the retail industry. So, to start with, sort of my first question or a point which we want your opinion on is that jewelry has been traditionally built on relationships, on trust, and personal recommendations. Now, as more customers begin their buying journey online, how do you recreate that same sense of trust in the digital first world?
So Nishat, basically, you are absolutely right when you say that jewelry is an industry which highly relies upon trust and relationship. This
Right,
has been an industry which has been dominated by our offline stores. There used to be time when customers would, just always prefer to go to the store, keep a feeling of the product in their hand, see the product, see the hallmarks and available on the product. And then one more very important factor that used to come in, that used to be the personal recommendations of the sales staff.
correct,
They There was a very high trust factor, which was always the case whenever the salesperson used to recommend, or there used to be that human factor which was providing that trust.
right,
So I don't think that trust has changed. The medium for sure has changed.
right,
Now, as a modern day and a brand, we cannot afford to be just an offline only brand. We have to have an omni-channel approach where having an online presence is also as important as having all of those stores. So the way the customers get that trust, the way that customers build that relationship over with the brand, that has definitely changed. Now customers expect detailed product images, authentic reviews, easy returns, certifications, secure payments, fast delivery, responsive customer support. All of these together come and make the brand way more in a interest factor. And then finally, to give you an
right,
umbrella picture over all of this, see, today's world is a world where there are so many different mediums through which a customer can reach us, different mediums through which we can reach to the customer. A customer, might just find about Jiva on Instagram, then come to our website, and then finally make a purchase on offline stores. So one umbrella factor that is very, very important is the consistency bit.
Right.
The experience that the customer is getting, the kind of, let's say, product feel or any of the features that are available, or the messaging, that should be totally consistent. When a customer feels that, okay, this brand is something which is same across all the channels, all the mediums of communication, that brings us in a big in a trust factor in.
Correct, correct. No, that's interesting. And the point that you mentioned about the consistency, the messages across, displayed across all the channels, that creates some kind of trust in the customers. Now, so once customers start interacting digitally, every click, every search that they do on the website or on the mobile app and purchase creates a kind of a valuable signal, right? Now, so
Correct.
brands today understand customers in ways that weren't possible even few years ago. Now, which brings me to the next question. Understood on the relationship and the trust part. Now, can data actually tell you whether someone is shopping for themselves or they are preparing for a wedding or they are simply buying a gift? How accurately can you understand the customer buying intent today?
So I would not say that we can with 100% certainty tell everything about the customer. We are still not yet there. But even then, there are so
Right,
many different browsing signals or purchase signals that we get through the customer journey, that we can get a very realistic idea about what is the intent, what is the story, why is the customer coming to our website or app to make the purchase. So just to give you an example, if there is a customer who's
agree.
browsing rings on, let's say, our Valentine's and page, Valentine's collection page, they will behave very, very different from, let's say, somebody who's buying something from, let's say, silver Mangal
Right.
Sutras or a bridal collection. So these two customers will have a very different need. And again, combining all of this with so many different signals that we can get, like the frequency. So not with 100% certainty that we are in a position to tell everything about our customer. But yes, we get a lot of different signals which give us a good perspective on what the customer wants, what is his the need, why is the customer coming to our website or app to make that particular purchase. So just to give you an example, so see, a customer who has come to our website and he's browsing rings on Valentine's week, he will
Right.
behave very differently from someone who's searching silver Mangal Sutras or the bridal collection.
Correct.
And
Correct.
not only this, you can couple it with so many different random metrics that we are currently see, like frequency, browsing depth, wish list behavior, delivery addresses, occasion campaigns, previous purchases. All of these signals, in isolation might not tell you a lot about the customer. But when these signals come together, the intent becomes surprisingly visible. We get to understand a lot more about the customer, way beyond the general demographic data that we used to earlier see. Earlier, a customer used to be defined by, let's say, their age, by their, let's say, geography, gender, and only those inner factors. But today, thanks to the amount of data that we have, we are able to actually get a way more clearer picture from our customers.
Now, so understanding the customer intent and getting the signals is obviously one thing. Now, what I understand, the bigger challenge, what I feel is turning those insights and signals into personalized experiences for the millions of customers while still making sure that every interaction feels unique, right? So, how does Jiva tackle this?
So see, again, this is something very, very close to the industry that we work in. For us,
Right,
we cannot just be selling, let's say, a product. We are here to actually build relationships with the customer. We are actually here to build the stories that each and every consumer brings on its unique level. So
right,
understanding the customers is only half the work done. The second part then
agree,
that comes into picture is, how do we make the customer feel understood? How does he or
right.
she, let's say, gets that trust that, okay, Jiva is a brand today, understands what his or her need is, and we are continuously working to solve the query for them. So, today, for definitely personalization has become a luxury. It is about, relevance. It is about showing the right product at the right moment, along with the right message and through the right channel. Now, you know, we continuously and say that, okay, there are certain customers who can, let's say, put into a certain segment, and then we can pin some story around it. But the, the difference between two customers in the same segment is also so huge that
Right.
it becomes a challenge for us to actually create a premium and a personalized and a premium experience for them. But
Mm-hmm.
once we are able to solve it at a scale where we identify the story, identify the intent signals behind each and every customer, that is where our journey to address the customer needs, let it be through our CRM, let it be through our, let's say, UI UX on the website or app, all of those continuously keep on changing for the customer needs. So for example, if a customer, let's say, looking for gifts for, let's say, his wife or girlfriend or sister, we if we get a signal, if we get an intent signal around the same, we will then make the life so easy for the customer. We will then try to show him, let's say, a smaller catalog of just the best selling products which are,
Mm-hmm.
suitable for gifting to particular, let's say, relationship. And that is how we are able to solve the problem for the customer. That is where that premiumization or the personalization comes into picture for Jiva.
Right. Right. Understood. So luxury now, just to add on the same point on personalization, luxury has always been about customers, feel special, right? So now, do you think personalization is becoming the new definition of luxury altogether?
Definitely. See, today's world, the luxury doesn't come from the product or the how the website looks, or let's say if you go from a retail experience perspective, how well the store is looking. It has been a move far beyond that. Today, luxury also derives its value from the concept that this brand knows me really well. As a customer, I feel that yes, this brand is taking up efforts to understand what my need is, and again at the same time putting in efforts to solve for the same. Once I start feeling
Right.
that,
Right.
my perception towards that brand, my trust towards that brand, that increases exponentially. And this is where that
Correct.
premium factor comes into the picture. They don't feel that,
Agree.
they are in, let's say, a flea market where, thousands of products are just put there and they are just bombarded with, a blanket and a campaign. It's not
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
It is, again, if we just talking with the in the earlier part, we were talking about how the jewelry industry used to be dominated by the offline sector. It is the
Segments,
same
right?
where we were where the salesperson was trying to do the same for the customer, trying to understand what his needs are, trying to recommend a product which was aligned with what they want. Instead
Correct.
of just see, today, you go to any jewelry store or any luxury store, they might have thousands or 2,000 of designs present in the system. But the
Right.
customer's need is not aligned with all of them. They might be matching with, let's say, a subsection of it. And the ability to, solve that problem, the ability to make the life of the customer easy, that is where
Right.
I see the premiumization today exists.
Correct. Correct. Agree. And to on the same point as well. Now, what I think is obviously personalization is really important. Data is really important. The kind of trust factor is important. But along with all these three, in order to for a customer to go online and start browsing the products, I also feel convenience to a certain point is really a key point, because the reason everyone starts adapting to quick commerce so fast and the quick commerce industry is growing is purely because of the convenience, because they get the
Exactly.
same experience, they get the same luxury sitting at home, so they don't have to go out and buy certain things. So probably along with personalization, the convenience is also playing a key part when what I feel, in terms of the customers purchasing products online now.
Bang on, Nishit. Bang on. You are absolutely right. See, again, within the quick commerce also, there was a need to solve for the quick delivery,
Right.
instant gratification. And once the business starts solving for the customer, it completely changes the landscape.
Absolutely correct. Now, with personalization and convenience at that scale, it's not possible without technology, right? So brands
Correct.
today need thousands of product recommendations. They need good amount of creatives. They need messages, campaigns, and that's where AI is actually becoming a powerful enabler, right? So we talked about trust. We talked about data, performance, personalization. Now everything kind of ties up with the AI enablement part, right? So where do you think AI actually adds the most value today? And where should the human creativity and judgment always remain?
So, I heard a very beautiful line somebody was telling me. So, he said that AI is going to remove the repetitive work, whereas the humans are going to continue creating emotional work. And that is the distinction. That is the genuine difference that is going to be there. We will use AI to, accelerate a lot of things, reduce the redundancies, remove the repetitive works, but it can never replace the judgment. That's what I feel.
Right,
That is where
right,
that
right.
human intelligence is still going to play a very, very big role. So,
Mm,
AI today is becoming a very, very important brainstorming partner. It can help generate ideas. Today, I can create, let's say, hundreds or thousands of creatives in just one go. Now, that is where AI is going to help me.
right,
But to figure out which out of those 10 or 15 or 100 of creatives is going to work for me, that is where that human distinction, that human advantage is going to come in. And again, coming back to
mm,
the discussion that we were having, see, today, unfortunately, because of the limitation of manual work, or let's say limitation of non AI technology, we are able to segment the customers in, let's say, at max 10 or 15 segments today.
right,
Now, we might have lakhs of customers coming to our website or app, on a monthly level. To just imagine that, all of those lakhs of customers can be actually boxed in those 10, 15 segments, that is practically
correct,
impossible. That, in my opinion,
right,
is where we are force fitting those customers into particular segments. In today's world, with the use of AI and the signals that we were discussing earlier, we can actually create very, very distinctive, very, very sharp segments. And the number of segments need not be limited to 10, 15, or even 100.
correct,
If you go to a very large extent, each and every customer can be a different segment for themselves. And that
right,
is where this personalized approach, this personalized segmentation at scale, I think AI is going to revolutionize that. It is going to incorporate all of those signals into one very distinctive segment, and then accordingly create let's say, a predictive journey for them on the go. I
correct,
need
correct.
not be sitting here and writing, like, let's say, for the 10,000s of segments that have been created. I don't want to manually create 10,000 journeys as well.
Mm,
Those journeys will be created automatically by AI in a predictive manner using algorithms. And that is the beauty of AI that we should all in the industry try to, let's say, adopt.
correct, correct. And one customer can be sitting in multiple campaigns depending upon the signals that obviously the products that they have browsed, their past purchases. They can be sitting in various campaigns, and then AI can definitely kind of mix and merge those kind of campaigns, and then send across
Exactly,
kind of
exactly. So see,
personalized messages.
that's the problem. See, right now, because the number of segments is limited, it is very, very difficult to honestly say that a particular customer coming to, let's say, on a website belongs to either one of them. It is
Right.
somewhere lying actually in between the two.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
limitation on our side is, forcing us to, force fit into a particular segment.
Right.
So you are absolutely right when you say that, people coming from different, and let's say, campaigns, or coming into, let's say, different segments as well, can have a complete distinct identity into the system, into the model.
Absolutely. Now, AI is actually already helping brands personalize a lot of experiences, right? In this day and age, based on the signals that we discussed. But we are moving towards a future where AI assistants now could actually recommend or even make a purchase on behalf of the customers or take decisions on behalf of customers. Now, that actually raises another interesting question for me. Now, so if AI starts choosing jewelry for customers, what becomes the real competitive advantage for brands here? Is it the product? Is it their overall brand story? Is it the experience that they give it to the customers, or it's something else entirely?
See, in the traditional world, the real winner used to be someone who had a very good branding story. It would have been
Correct.
someone who had the best product, or
Right.
ultimately it would be someone who had the lowest price. That used to be the traditional
Great.
and the model of working. But coming to today's world and seeing the futuristic and the value of how AI is changing the world, I think the winner will be somebody very, very different. It will be the brand who has the richest product into customer understanding. So
Right.
just in a give me 2 seconds and I'll just explain what I mean. So basically, right now we have built systems which have very, very great understanding about our products. But when you do a product into customer mapping, then you start seeing all of those signals to create personalized experiences for the customers in different segments. That understanding, that trying to match the product with the exact requirement of the customer, that is going to change the in the complete industry. That is going to be the competitive advantage for the world. Today, we already have models, we already have systems which can predict that, okay, there might be a need for, let's say, Saurabh to buy a new cereal pack. And it can
Hmm.
start giving me recommendations that, okay, Saurabh, you bought a cereal pack 1 month ago. It is about to get over, so you should buy another one.
Correct.
We are at that stage. We have reached that stage. But think about a future when, AI can actually differentiate between two such customers, where one customer is, let's say, having a habit of buying the same cereal again and again, while
Correct.
other customer might be a more experimentative in nature. And
Hmm.
AI can actually differentiate between the two and give different recommendations. Ki, like, let's say for Saurabh, it might just say ki, you should buy the same cereal again. For Nishad, it might say ki, boss, you bought this cereal in the last time. Do you want to try this new cereal this time? And then
Correct.
let's take this to another and the next step. The next step is not just recommendation. As you rightly said, to make my life even more easier, AI can actually make that decision also for me. Now,
Right.
AI takes control of, let's say, my kitchen, my pantry.
Right.
To solve for that, they are just continuously trying to, solve whether I need a product. If I need it, this is aligned with what my purpose of need is, and then just buy the product. Just
Correct.
imagine,
Correct.
just imagine how different that world would be from today. That is going to solve a major, let's say, problem for the customers. And again, we might still end up with some customers whose preference is that they want to be super involved in the purchase journey. And that is absolutely
Right.
fine by us. For such
Right.
customers, we will have a very different journey. But to cater to a large plethora of customers that we face on a daily level, I think we need to go on to all of these parts in the future as well.
Absolutely. And this can be kind of an upsell strategy for the brands. If I'm ordering a same product every time, the brand kind of upsells me different products, different
Correct?
customizations, and then take me to the next level in terms of the overall customer journey and the buying journey as well. So
Correct.
aligned to the point, Saurabh. Now, obviously, technology is changing quickly, but customer expectations are also changing at a even much faster pace. That means leadership has to evolve alongside it. Now, what are your thoughts about it? Because there is some kind of friction which I have observed while talking to brands in the market in terms of adapting to AI. Yes, everyone's ready to adopt AI, but in terms of, let's say, how you kind of evaluate and use it across the entire customer journey in terms of data personalization, there are some friction points. So, what are your thoughts about it?
So see, again, as we were discussing, that AI is not going to replace the humans. AI has a completely different advantage, and that advantage is not to replace the humans. It is to make the life of humans easier only.
Correct.
And with that thought process, with that backing in the mind, I think the future leaders needs at least three capabilities, according to me. One should be customer empathy. They should understand what the customer is facing. They should understand and solve for the customer. Second is data literacy. See,
Right.
in today's world, data is everything. Data
Correct.
is as valuable, if not more, as compared to gold. So, to understand how the data is coming, how to read the data, and again, how to utilize that data to move into an actionable item, that is super critical. And third, and the most important thing I feel is that is technological curiosity.
Hmm.
You know, I have seen that best decisions actually happen when there is curiosity, there is some intuition that, starts the conversation on
Correct.
how we can bring in a, let's say, a change. And then we build a layer of data on top of that, justify our hypothesis and bring that change. So
Correct.
I think in today's world as well, you are absolutely right. There is friction among a lot of leaders across the industry where they are also trying to figure out whether they should adopt AI, at which pace they should adopt AI, and how much AI should be adopted.
Right.
I think all of those are valid doubts, but again, there should not be a hindrance in, let's say, understanding or analyzing the use of AI. You should always give chance to see what better AI can do, what
Right.
different changes AI can do, and how it can help you to scale. Once you make this, let's say, understanding on AI and the data, I think life is going to become super easy for a lot of leaders in the future.
No, makes sense. Makes sense. Understood on that point. Now, so moving ahead, what's one major shift in retail, customer experience, or even marketing that you believe most of the brands are still underestimating?
So, see, today, as a lot of brands are trying to feel that personalization is about algorithms. They try to ensure that whatever personalization has to be done, it has to be again within those, let's say, limited number of buckets. So if I have, let's say, a segment for new user,
You're right.
all the new users coming into the system should be running through that particular algorithm only. And that I feel is the biggest mistake. All of these customers who are coming into a brand, and let's say a brand like Jiva, where emotions drive a lot of their business decisions, a lot of purchase decisions.
Right.
There, it is very, very difficult to, actually, let's say, sell the product by just putting all of those customers into one algorithm. It is actually about understanding people, understanding their need, understanding what makes them come to our in a website or our store or even our Instagram page. That is the one thing where I personally feel all the brands should really, really work upon. And one thing pretty sure I'm not telling you will also agree with is that because of the number of data points and because of the number of channels that we have, having a unified approach towards data, that
Right.
is going to be a critical thing, in the future. And that is something where each and every brand today should invest.
Agree. Agree. I mean, that is one critical point, an area where not just like Jiva has already invested on, but the other brands who are promising to be in that league, they need to kind of invest their time and energy behind having a unified source of data. Now, Saurabh, to you know end this discussion, I also would like to end this on a very forward looking kind of a question, right? So imagine, we are sitting here again in 2030 or maybe 2035. What's the one headline about Jiva or about the future of jewelry retail that you hope has become a reality? Jewelry has already made a debut on quick commerce, right? So what else do
Correct.
we anticipate?
So see, but on top of my mind, if I have to say that, I would love if the headline says that Jiva becomes the world's most loved jewelry brand by making
For sure.
technology feel deeply human. So
Right.
just three important parts in this. World's most loved brand. We want to expect, we want to be the best.
Yep.
Making technology feel deeply human. We want to use technology to our advantage, but we want to ensure that we use it to understand the customers better. We want to use it to make the customer feel even more closer to the brand.
That's very interesting. And I hope, we reach there.
Definitely.
That's very interesting, Saurabh. So now I don't have a kind of a track on time, but if you are fine, can we do a very quick rapid fire for the audience?
Sure.
Uh, I actually, randomly wrote 3 questions on a piece of paper, actually 4 questions on a piece of paper, and want your response in either one word or maximum one sentence. So can we do it for the audience?
Sure.
Great, 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 great. Awesome. So let me just go through these questions one by one for you. So the first question that I have for you is, what is the most overrated KPI in retail marketing?
So I think the most overrated KPI is the ROS when looked in isolation. So so right now we live in a world where we are talking about so many different signals. We are talking about
Right.
multiple purchases coming in, but when you start looking at ROS in isolation, I think that is something which I will always be afraid of.
Correct, correct, correct. Interesting. The second question that I have for you is, if you could have only one source of data, what would it that be?
So again, as I was saying that today Jiva is present across different mediums, different marketing channels, different revenue channels. I would want all of them to be unified in my own database where I can utilize it really, really well.
Correct.
This is something which should be internally with me in the system.
Aligned. The third question, one AI use case that everyone talks about, but it is currently overhyped.
So I think I today in this world we are seeing a lot of different brands and companies who are coming up with AI enabled chatbots. I think that
Right.
is something which is very overhyped. It's a very good use case. I'm not denying that. But
Correct.
to say that AI or data is just limited to that, that's something super wrong. It is just the beginning. AI
Yeah.
is way, way more than that.
Correct. Correct. I personally don't use chatbots that much often whenever I am browsing, but yeah, taken your point. And one last question I have is, one Martech capability that will actually become very essential in the next 3 years.
So I think the first and foremost is the personalized approach on how we can unify. First of all, we need to unify the data. And with the unified data that we have, we need to create these micro segments that I was talking about. Those micro segments is essential to create those personalized journeys, which would be specific to each and every customer. So I think this micro segmentation, actually, I should say micro segmentation,
Correct.
that is going to be the revolution that Martech can bring in.
Absolutely. I am sure it will. Now, that's great, Saurabh. So, after all this discussion, one thing which I am taking away from this conversation is that the future of retail isn't becoming less human because of AI, but the brands that thrive will be the ones that use data to understand people better, better personalization to serve them better, and the technology that removes the friction, which we talked about, from their lives, right? So, Saurabh, yeah, thank you, once again for joining us, for sharing the journey behind Jiva's approach, customer experience, data, and innovation. And I hope the audience were able to get some real good insights from the conversation. So, thank you, Saurabh, for giving your time today.
Thank you, Nishad. It was a pleasure to have this discussion with you.
Perfect. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon in the next episode. Take care.